Hi there, Steve Kaufman. Let me just get this centered better. Today was a great day here. I went skiing, cross-country skiing in Vancouver. It was raining last couple of days and the temperature dropped, and so there was lots of snow up here on the mountains, so 20 minutes from where I live. I went from rainy weather to beautiful snow. Had a great time. And I have my frozen shoulder, and at least I'm able to cross-country ski, so that makes me a little happier. Otherwise, my activities have been really cut back. I can't play hockey, I can't do anything, but today was great. Now, I want to talk in response to a comment that Kevin made on a previous post where I spoke, I think I commented about, or I made reference to a site that referred to English people not speaking languages. Although a number of them said they would like to, and Kevin said, well, yeah, but the English are not the only ones that are monolingual, which is true, but of course they're more monolingual than the others. Like when I was in Italy, all kinds of people spoke English, Portugal the same way. But it's not really fair to compare because really the English, I mean, everyone speaks English, so there is less incentive for them to speak English. And Kevin then sent me in the direction of an article by Mark Morgenfelder, I think it was, and I've posted a connection to, or a link to his article where he explains all the reasons why people don't want to learn languages. And he says that it's a very difficult, it's an unpleasant thing to do, and people only do it if they have to. So I want to talk about that because I want to compare language learning to golf. Now, I could compare language learning to Sudoku or learning to play a musical instrument or any other thing, hobby, activity that people do because they like to do those activities. And to me, and I'm a bit of a language nut, but language learning should be an enjoyable thing to do. And I am of the belief, and that's largely behind my motivation and link, I'm of the belief that more people don't learn languages because it is made out to be an obligation, something that we have to do, and so forth and so on. Now, if you look at golf, if you compare golf to language learning, I mean, language learning is much more pleasant. You're far more likely to succeed. You're far less likely to be frustrated. It's a lot less expensive. And it's better for you. It's better for your brain. And you look at golf, and I play golf. I'm not as keen as my wife, but I do play golf. I went through a period where I tried very hard to improve. I realized that no matter how hard I practiced, I wasn't going to get any better. That every time I go out to play golf, there's going to be X number of times when I'll hit that ball and it won't go anywhere near where I wanted it to go. So, 4.5, 5 hours walking around the golf course, and increasingly you don't even get to walk, you have to ride in a cart. So there's very little exercise, lots of frustration, it's expensive, it's 50, 60, 70, 80, if you go to an expensive course, $100, $150 for the privilege of going around and being frustrated. And most people never improve. I mean, the young people improve, and then the older people, most of the people who take it up are older, and they very quickly reach their level, and they never ever improve. It's social, you can be with friends, whatever, that's true, have a beer after the game and all that. But if I compare it to language learning is a very good stimulus for the brain. If you do it right, you're actually doing interesting things, listening to interesting things, reading interesting things. You're able to track your improvement, and again at link, you're gradually seeing the number of words that you know increase. It's actually cumulative. Golf isn't cumulative. You can play well one day, practice the whole week, and play worse the following week. There is no sense of an accumulation. Whereas in language learning, you do accumulate words. The other thing is, you can learn languages while doing exercises that are far more physical exercise, that's far more strenuous than golf. I do it all the time. When I was up skiing, cross-country skiing in the snow, I was listening to Russian. My wife gets furious because I will play golf listening to languages. When I can be exercising, lifting weights, doing my abdominal exercises, listening to languages. I can be walking, listening to languages. So it's healthy, it's good for the brain, and at the end of it, you actually end up being able to speak in the language. Okay, you end up with something's left. So, to me, yeah, there's all kinds of hobbies that are out there, and not everyone's going to like the same thing, and I have always said, I don't consider someone who isn't interested in languages a worse person. You know, there's lots of multilingual people who I don't like, and there's lots of unilingual people that I like. It doesn't make you a better or worse person. But I think we can do a much better job of making language learning an interesting and fun activity for its own sake. Just the pleasure of listening to a different language. And in fact, this article by this Mark fellow, there's a lot that I agree with in what he says about things that are not true about language learning, but the idea that language learning has to be a utilitarian activity, that you only do it if you have to. I think that's true for a lot of people. It may even be true for the majority of people. But people do lots of things that are not utilitarian. People play golf, which has no purpose, and it's expensive and frustrating. People do Sudoku, which has no purpose. So can we not structure language learning in such a way that it is a fun thing to do for its own sake? The activity of learning, of listening, is fun. And you get the added benefit that you now have a language which will enable you to communicate with people, whether it be socially, or for business, or for watching movies, or for reading books. You now acquire this other door to a part of humanity, that has been kind of off limits for you, so that you have these tremendous benefits. And in that sense, I think it's really unfortunate that this whole utilitarian approach to language learning, and you got to learn it as fast as possible and do it and be done with it. No, just do it and enjoy it. And don't just do English or now Chinese or Spanish. There used to be far more interest in a variety of languages, language exchanges to Germany, to Japan, to Portugal, to, Kyrgyzstan. It doesn't matter. It's wherever you go and you meet up with people of a different culture and you learn their language, if it's done well, learning that language can be fun, and you end up with the advantage that you now can interact in a much richer way with the people and the culture of a different language. So my take on it is, I would far rather go cross-country skiing. By the way, I went cross-country skiing today and listened to Echo Moskvi, my Russian. My wife played golf. If you ask me what I would rather do, the proof is where I went today and where she went today. So let us continue to find ways to make language learning a fun thing to do, not just a utilitarian activity. So that's my take on language learning and golf. Thank you.